Ask any lawyer who has been practicing business law or family law in any capacity, and they will tell you yes, every one of these relationships that come into litigation are based on and often resolved by contracts. And when we put into perspective the contractual nature of our relationship and we understand the fundamentals of contract law, then we have more leverage in recognizing where challenges in our relationship are not always about emotions, but could be about needing to redesign or revisit the contract that connects us in those relationships. And one of the signs that your contract may need to be modified, redesigned, revisited, there may need to be a brand new conversation around your relationship contract is that there are misunderstandings happening more frequently. If you find yourself having misunderstandings around the same issue on a weekly or a daily basis, there may be a serious need for a redesign here because you're each understanding things a little differently. You're each expecting something a little different. So when this particular subject comes up, conflict results because there's not a meeting of the minds. This is the big contract word. Are we defining things the same way? Do we agree on the way that we're defining things? And are we both agreed on the terms of our contract? So, friction and tension often result as a result of maybe this is not something that we anticipated before we entered into this particular arrangement. We did not see in the future that this could be an issue. Maybe we need to talk about it. I'm approaching it based on my understanding and my needs and my expectations, and you're approaching it based on yours. So maybe it's time for us to sit down at the table and really hash out what the need is and how we can reach a win-win around this issue. Another sign that it may be time for a contract redesign is if you are feeling overwhelmed in the agreement, where you look at the issue, right? Whatever that area of life is in your relationship, and when you look at your contribution in that area, you feel that you carry a lot more weight than the other person, and it's creating a sense of being overwhelmed. You're kind of looking at the other person and they have some bandwidth where they can kind of help carry the load a little more. This is another sign that you may need to come and redesign the contract. Have a conversation about the weight that you're carrying and ask for help. And I know that asking for help can be a really, really hard thing for a lot of people, male and female. Many of us, we default to pride and this sense that no, I can handle it. I got it. I'm okay. But when you are feeling overwhelmed in a relationship contract, then the relationship is going to be threatened by you feeling overwhelmed. So, developing a sensitivity to your own sense of feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you've bitten off more than you can chew. Maybe you're taking on too many new things at one time. Maybe the burden of this issue needs to be redistributed within the family. Whatever it is, your sense of being overwhelmed is another sign that it may be time to call a family meeting, or even if it's a coworker or a friend, to have a compassionate confrontation with letting the other person know that you are struggling, where you're struggling, and invite them into helping you. So that's another sign. And one final sign that your contract may need to be redesigned is that you recognize that certain topics are not being addressed and remaining unresolved. And this is very similar to the the first sign that you're having more and more misunderstandings. Well, if those misunderstandings are not being resolved, then it's because you need to have a meeting that is scheduled for the purpose of dealing with this particular issue. It is challenging your relationship. It is creating conflict, and it is not fixing itself. Not dealing with it is not resolving it. So now it's time to have a meeting. Now it's time to have the conversation. Now it's time to develop terms and come to a meeting of the mind so that you can have harmony in this relationship. I hope that this conversation about contracts is helpful to you. I know that it doesn't always feel huggy feely or warm and fuzzy to talk about the very legal aspects of intimate and close relationships, but they absolutely are. And the more that we're respectful of the legal operation within love, the better we can navigate conflict when it arises, because it always will. Be blessed and encouraged.